The way some Northern California farmers and ranchers went along on this National Guard peace mission. For tomorrow's special assignment at 5 and at 10, we'll visit a Ukrainian farm and show you how some of its products may someday end up in your refrigerator. Northern California is a magnet for Ukrainian immigrants who come here looking for a better life after suffering under communism.
This month, our California National Guard took some local leaders to Ukraine on a peace mission, and John Iender went along. In his special assignment tonight, John takes a look at how two cultures suddenly have a whole lot in common.
After years of Soviet domination, the Ukrainians are finally seeing firsthand what a free market economy is all about. If you ever have any doubt that capitalism has defeated communism fair and square, come right here to the Central Market. Here there is plenty to buy at competitive prices. Gone are the days when food was scarce. And on just about every corner you now see American influence, from potato chips to Coca-Cola.
They want it. They're all very hungry for it, Western products, and you see it here.
The Ukraine is a lot like our valley. Rich soils and productive farms that make it the food basket of Europe. Part of that bounty is thanks to Ukrainian farmers like Miroslav and his father. In just 4 years, they have turned this former collective farm into a model of Western agriculture. 200 acres of sugar beets and grain. Miroslav also raises hogs and cows and buys and sells machinery. This combine is German, this tractor is Russian. If something breaks, he has to make the part himself. Our National Guard brought a group of Northern California farmers to the Ukraine for this exchange visit with Miroslav. Casey Stone is a Yolo County rancher.
What do you think of this guy, farmer to farmer?
I'm very impressed. He's got a lot of tenacity and the willingness to stick it out, and that's what these guys take. Is they have to improvise, make the system work, because the system sure doesn't work for them.
Jeff Huckins is the general manager of Woodland Tractor.
Oh, you got to admire this guy. You have to admire what he's done in 4 years, and you got to look at the style of farming. You have to look at what he's done. He's achieved quite a bit.
Miroslav gets little government help. Credit in the Ukraine now runs over 100% a year, so he has to pay cash or barter for everything. He also recently visited the United States to learn more about our farming techniques. And UC Davis graduates now help him here to plan for the future.
What I've sensed is he feels like it's only going to get better. And he's well positioned. He and some of his friends that are also taking advantage, and that are leasing land and trying to get bigger and develop economies of scale here, that when it does take off, he's going to be ready.
We left Miroslav a few tokens of our visit and took home the unmistakable feeling that entrepreneurs like he will never let the Ukraine slip back into communism. In the cities, the standard of living is now rising. People can own their own homes and apartments. The American flag flew over City Hall to welcome us. And in a way, this was a homecoming for me. I first came to the Soviet Union back in the early 1970s, a young reporter shooting film and making a documentary about communism. So I was interested to come back to one of these Eastern Bloc nations to find out what had changed. You know what has changed? There's not a sign of communism now. When the statues of Russian leaders came down in 1991, this monument to free speech and freedom went up. Children not born in the communist days are taught what that oppression was like. Today in the Ukraine, police are on the streets, not to spy on tourists, but instead to direct traffic. And everywhere you look, old buildings are being refurbished, brightened up. In just 8 years, the Ukraine has become a world economy where you can now buy cassettes from Japan and bananas from Panama. We found this store well-stocked with American clothing.
Here's a pretty average pair of American-made jeans. Price here is $156 of the local currency, which is about $51, $52 American. Pretty comparable to the price we pay at home.
What impressed me most, though, is how well these people have adapted to a life after communism. Here's another big change. Making a phone call out of the former Soviet Union was next to impossible. Today, here in the Ukraine, they have phone cards with a computer chip on the back. Plug it in, dial away. Sacramentan Tracy Rigello is one of our National Guard soldiers who came here on this peace mission.
Probably the biggest thing I'm getting is an appreciation for our own country. I think when you step back and go someplace else, then you can look back at yourself and your own people and see it more clearly.
But not all the wounds of communism have healed. I ran into a Ukrainian television crew who told me there is still some government censorship here.
There are topics that I don't write about purposely because I know that whatever I write will not be printed or will not be in the air.
Tomorrow on my special assignments, I'll take you to a Ukrainian school to meet the faces that might change the world. In the Ukraine, John Iender, KOBR 13 News.